Texas style and Kansas City style barbecue. Which one is better? The answer is Texas style barbecue. Happy smoking. Wait, what? Sorry, the answer is Kansas City style barbecue. Happy smoking. Guys, sorry, I can't do this. YouTube keeps telling me to take a really one-sided opinion to stoke outrage just to get views, but I can't do it anymore. The truth is, the answer is kind of complicated. I recently traveled to Kansas City to compete in the American Royal World Championship of Barbecue, and while I was there, I spent several thousands of dollars eating at as many Kansas City barbecue joints as I possibly could. Some of it was exceptional, some of it was not so great, and I couldn't help but think back to my trip to Austin, Texas, where everything I ate was exceptional. So it got me thinking, maybe Texas-style barbecue is better than Kansas City-style barbecue. But I don't think it's really fair to make a blanket statement like that. I think a better way of looking at it, and this is kind of my opinion or thesis for this video, is that it depends on the specific barbecue joint that you visit, and it depends on whether they're on top of their game on that particular day. In other words, it's not about the location, it's about the execution. More on that later, but first let's talk about the main differences between Texas style and Kansas City style barbecue. In my opinion, stereotypical Texas style barbecue is whole brisket with super dark smoky bark, salt and pepper heavy seasoning. It's peppery pork ribs with a sauce that really leans into tomato-y territory. It's juicy, spicy sausage, and that's barely scratching the surface, but that is the Texas Trinity, and I think that encompasses the core of what Texas-style barbecue is. In contrast, Kansas City-style barbecue is brisket burnt ends from the brisket point muscle that are sauced with a very sugar-forward, tomato-based sauce, but I'd go as far as to call it a sugar-based sauce because in most cases, sugar is the main ingredient by weight in a lot of these sauces. It's thinly sliced brisket flat, it's smoked ribs and pulled pork with sugary sauce. That's the core of it, and maybe you add in chicken and sausage as well, but I think that pretty much encompasses what Kansas City-style barbecue is. Another difference is where Texas-style barbecue might be salt and pepper forward, Kansas City-style rubs use a lot of sugar, salt, paprika, onion, garlic, chili powder, and a lot of other ingredients. And I think they just have like more of a traditional barbecue flavor that you'd get from like a barbecue rub that you buy from the store. Whereas Texas style rubs are really subdued on the sugar, a lot more salt and pepper heavy. So at first glance, if you're looking at both of these cuisines, if you remove all of the rubs and the sauces, they pretty much have the same hardware. A KC-style burnt end is just a cubed and sauced form of a Texas-style point slice. And you could take the same rack of ribs, cut it in half, and then make it either Texas-style or Kansas City-style just by using different rubs and sauces. So everything else being equal, and as long as the underlying meat is perfectly cooked and it's the same quality, then it really depends on your personal preferences. But I personally think that both styles of barbecue are equally as good. Whatever style of barbecue is being used, as long as it's perfectly executed and it has really well-balanced flavors, then I think it's all good. The difference really comes down to the texture and the tenderness of the meat though, and that is what I'm really looking for at barbecue joints when I consider whether a barbecue joint is worse than or better than another one. It really comes down to if I have dry meat that is tough at one place, I'm gonna like the other place better that has really juicy and moist meat. Now, when I visited Austin, all of the meat was hands down super juicy, perfectly cooked. You could tell that the pitmasters were on top of their game, and also the flavors were perfectly balanced. But in Kansas City, unfortunately, a lot of the places I went to were pretty inconsistent. Some of them had dry meat, tough meat. It wasn't perfectly cooked, or it was perfectly cooked, but it just didn't have enough seasoning. The flavor was imbalanced. I know that I went to one place that had a perfectly tender, juicy short rib that had great bark on it, but it's almost like they forgot to put the salt on it or any seasoning at all. It just didn't have any flavor to it. Another place I went to had really tender ribs, but they were way too salty. It's like they left them in a brine for a couple days or something, and it was just like so much salt. Even for my salt-heavy taste buds, it was just too much. In other words, some places were just inconsistent. But that being said, I did go to several joints in KC that were absolutely exceptional. They were on par, if not better, than many of the Texas top 50 joints I went to. Those restaurants were Chef Jay, Meat Mitch, and Heart Barbecue. Best barbecue joints in KC, in my opinion. Now, it's kind of ironic that both Chef Jay and Heart Barbecue are considered Texas-style barbecue joints, but they are in Kansas City, and they do have Kansas City-inspired dishes on their menu. Chef J is a bit more traditional Texas style, but Heart Barbecue is more of like a mashup of Texas style barbecue and KC style barbecue staples like burnt ends and cheesy corn. So I don't think the fact that two of the best joints in KC are Texas style barbecue restaurants really proves any points. The main reason they're so good is not because they're Texas style, it's because they're consistently putting out high quality product and they're really skilled at what they do. In any event, if you want some of the best barbecue you can eat in Kansas City, go to Chef J or Heart Barbecue. Heart Barbecue would actually be my top choice, and here's why. I visited them when they just opened their new location and they didn't even have a dining room set up. They were only taking online orders. It was kind of like a shakeout day or a practice day for them before their grand opening. And I ordered online and went there, and the food was just, it absolutely blew me away. It was better than a lot of Texas barbecue joints that I went to when I was in Texas. And that was on what was essentially a practice day for them. So I was super impressed. Daniel Vaughn of Texas Monthly actually wrote up an article on Heart Barbecue and sang their praises. But I still don't think they get enough accolades because they have really exceptional, great barbecue that is just objectively good. And I think more people should go there and they should get more recognition. So anyway, Heart Barbecue, top notch. Definitely go there if you're going through KC or if you live there. Meat Mitch was my other favorite. They're more of a traditional Kansas City style barbecue joint owned by a KCBS barbecue competition champion. And they serve up great KC staples like burnt ends, sugar-based sauces, pulled pork, and the like. The atmosphere was nice. It was kind of like a gastropub in there. The service was excellent. Everything tasted amazing. And most importantly, the meat was cooked to absolute perfect tenderness and juiciness. And I think that's because it's owned by a KCBS competitor, kind of like forged in the fire of fierce competition. I think that's really important. And competition is why I think most people have a better experience at any given Texas barbecue joint than any given Kansas City barbecue joint. In Texas, there's more demand for barbecue, but there's more competition as well. Competition is fierce, and you need to be on top of your game every single day, consistently putting out great product to succeed there. So I think quality is generally higher in Texas because pitmasters are constantly learning from each other and one-upping each other. It's kind of like that saying, pitmasters sharpen pitmasters like steel sharpens steel. I think that was in the Bible, or Conan. Now, a consequence of that higher competition and higher quality is higher consumer expectations. Texans in general, in my opinion, have higher expectations of barbecue. So a Kansas City barbecue joint might be able to be inconsistent and off their game one day, and people won't really notice because maybe they don't go out to eat barbecue as much as a regular Texan does. But a Texan is gonna notice because they live and breathe this stuff. And if you burn a Texan once, then they're gonna go to the other guy's place that has more consistent quality. That's basically my opinion on the matter. It's not the location, it's not the style of cuisine, it is the execution on a daily basis and consistency of the particular barbecue joint that you go to. And in general, in Texas, you are more likely to get higher quality, and in Kansas City, you are less likely to get that higher quality, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're not gonna get exceptional quality depending on the barbecue joint you go to. So what's better, Texas barbecue or Kansas City barbecue? It depends on where you go and whether they're on top of their game on that particular day. That's my opinion, but what do you think? Do you prefer Texas style barbecue or Kansas City style barbecue? Do you agree with my opinion? Do you disagree? Do you think I'm uninformed and stupid and idiotic? Then let me know in the comments section below. I would love to have a discussion with you. And next time you're going through KC, just remember Meat Mitch, Chef J, and Heart Barbecue. Those are my top picks for Kansas City. Highly recommend them. Happy smoking, guys.